So just a little bit ago, I shared a video that's pretty different to what I normally post. It was a discussion on the worst movie posters that my friend Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday and I had for our Patreon opportunity that's within our weekly podcast. Now, this video that you're about to see is the opposite of the last one. Here, we're taking a look at some of the best posters that we could find. Now, these aren't the only types of videos that you are going to find on our Patreon. There are movie rankings, spoiler discussions, life stories, and all kinds of other ridiculousness. We have a bunch of different levels of support to consider, each with different perks, so I hope you'll take a moment to take a look at these. The URL is on the screen, and I linked it in the description below. Thanks for the consideration, and now here's us ranking the best movie posters that we could find.
Hey, and welcome back to the Bearded Ones, to our Patreon, where this week we are talking about the best movie posters. Last week we spoke about the worst movie posters, and in our opinion that's what they were at the time, and I'm sure they will change, much like the best movie posters, which I found harder, to be honest, because there were so many when I was looking up that I thought were great. So welcome, thank you. Do share your opinions if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this. I guess we can just jump right in, Chris?
Yeah, let's do
it. Why don't you start? Let me know which is the bottom of your list of the best movie posters.
I think I'm going to do Face Off. I like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with you on the poster, to be honest.
There's things that I like about this because of the symmetry, but I think partially what's clouding my judgment in some of this is because I like the movie so much.
Movie? Yeah, the movie's amazing.
I mean, I do like there's minimal there's little things in the actual title where it says Travolta / Cage and then Face Off, where they have it's blue and it's kind of blurred a little bit and stretched a little bit, like motion blur, but some of it has been reversed. So that it's backwards behind it, and so it creates this weird.
I see that now. Yeah,
like lens flare type of.
A little bit about the names. I just point out, 99% of the time, out of all billion movie posters, they always get the names wrong on the face of the person that's below it. I know there's a reason for that, but I like the fact that here we have John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. And below it is the person.
How confusing is that when, just from a mental standpoint, where they list all of these people, but they're not shown in that order? And
it's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, you tell us the stars. There's a little bit of words in there that really you almost skip over. Your eyes skip over, and then you see Face Off.
Yeah, I haven't read them until now. Yeah.
So I like that, and you kind of.
In order to trap him.
Okay. You must become him. Yeah. Is this the best one? I really like it though. And I think, again, like I said, it's because it's the movie.
I think if you've seen the film, you understand why the poster is good. But if you haven't, you're like, okay.
What does this mean? Yeah, no, that's a good point.
What is this?
And yeah, okay, fair enough.
I mean, the taglines alone. You want to take his face off? No more drugs for that man. There's so many one-liners in this film that are brilliant. I love this film. It's great. Yes.
Okay. What's on your list?
Okay, I have so much on my list. But I'm going for my first one. I'm going to choose The Naked Lunch.
Okay.
A David Cronenberg film. If you pull this up, you'll notice that if you've seen The Naked Lunch, might be like Face Off again. If you've seen The Naked Lunch, you'll know why this poster is accurate. Because the guy's face is a typewriter. But I love the symmetry of the poster and the old school kind of frame, the color palette that they've used. I can't even read the small writing, but I don't really care. It says Naked Lunch, and you know this is a weird film. There's no face, there's no person to relate to. There's just fingers on the typewriter with a hat on top of the typewriter where there should be. And you're like, immediately, what is this?
Well, if you look at the typewriter, it has eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
Oh, what the hell? I didn't even know it.
It has the mouth is the semicircle of the actual tick, 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 tick keys, not of the keys of the typewriter itself, but the letters that would slam up to hit the ribbon. The ribbon holder the center of that becomes a nose, and then the two black rollers that hold
Yeah,
the
I
paper
just
are
noticed that.
eyes. And so you have
That
this weird
is
smile
bonkers, yeah.
off kilter to us.
That is great. That makes it even stranger.
Yeah, I like.
And it is a strange film.
I don't think I've seen this. I would have to watch the trailer to see if I've seen this or not.
I mean, the tagline there below Naked Lunch: exterminate all rational thought. From the director of Dead Ringers and The Fly. Kind of gives you an idea of what you're in store for.
Yeah, well, and I love I mean, it's very blown out. The contrast in this is turned way up.
Yeah, definitely saturated.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So it gives you. I mean, it's a jarring look all the way around because it has that weird old timey, like 1920s ish frame to it, and yeah, it's good choice. I like that. I think I'm gonna go Goonies next on mine. Now there are a lot of Goonies posters. Really, if you search Goonies posters, the one that I'm looking at, it's to me it is a little bit weird knowing the story because Josh Brolin is actually featured at the top. It's the one where they're all hanging off a stalactite. Off of, and they're hanging down, but you get to see the map below them, and it's there was another one that I saw that I think is the one of also the original posters where it's them all huddled around the treasure, and I couldn't get behind that one because of how the faces looked. Like Data looked very Cabbage Patch-ish. I mean, like a Cabbage Patch doll. His face was overly round and everything else. This one, the characters look a whole lot more like themselves. I'm not sure that this actually, by the poster itself, it just speaks peril and adventure. That's all you really get from there.
This reminds me of Indiana Jones, this poster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah.
It's classic 80s. I just see the kid there go, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
It's like I can see it, especially with the color palette.
Yes. Well, and he's wearing oh no, he doesn't wear it in that one. He's wearing a trench coat in this, but he doesn't wear a trench coat in Temple of Doom.
No.
But yeah. No. So I mean, iconic movie. It's just I like that all of the text too is over on the right hand side. So we really get the flowingness of the image as it goes. We're drawn in by Josh Brolin's eyes and his face because it is the most prominent on there. And then
it's not crowded at all. It's great. Yeah.
So, I mean, even with the text that sits
at the top. A little skull in the eye as well.
Yep.
It just adds another, oh yeah, cool. Because so you get cave because they're holding, you get a skull. So there's imminent, danger. You get that little cross at the bottom on the map. So it just adds all that kind of your eyes or your mind is putting together the adventure. And then if you actually take time to read the poster, the old lighthouse, the lost map, the treacherous traps, the hidden treasure, and sloth. That definitely puts it into perspective.
And sloth.
It's a great poster. Yeah. And sloth. The Matrix.
Ooh.
See, this one is great because I remember seeing this poster stretched out over London buses when it was first coming out. It was just literally, what is the Matrix? And this green code. And it's code that didn't even look like code. And then you looked at it and it was like, is that code? And I was playing around with code, so at that time, so I was like, is that code? That's not like HTML. Is it PHP? Is it MySQL? What is this? And then, without having seen a trailer, I went into the film. And I think in the space of 1 week, I saw it 4 times because my mind was blown. But that's showing how to do advertising to keep you intrigued, to go, what is it? There was even, if you went to the website, there was like this Follow the White Rabbit adventure you could do.
Yeah.
Very, very clever advertising. But this poster is so basic. It's just code, just like the date, the Matrix.
So good.
Love it.
Yeah. No, totally agree. That's iconic movie too. I mean, and it references what we then see that's used so much within the movie in this, you know, yeah. All right. Next on my list is a fairly old movie, but it's 12 Angry Men. Excuse me.
I've never seen this film.
Really? They've remade it once.
It looks boring.
Oh my gosh. They've remade it once or twice. Don't see the remakes. Just go to the original.
Right.
It is. Seriously, you haven't seen it?
No, never seen it.
Dude, oh my gosh. The premise is, let me just tell you.
Breaking Chris.
It's a court. I know, right? I'm like, wait. Oh my gosh. Okay. No. So it's a courtroom drama, but really what happens is it's what happens within the jury room. So you have these 12 men who are arguing the case and whether or not they believe this person's innocence or guilt. Okay, basic premise. But so many of the personalities that come out and so many of the nuances within there and how discussions. I mean, it's a very dialogue-driven movie because it's single setting for the most part. You know,
like a courtroom. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it is like you have. No, I'm not even gonna say it. Just the performances are outstanding because you get to see so many different emotions and the culmination of dialogue and arguments that come and backgrounds that come forth, you know, that really good. But back to the poster. I mean, first off, it's an old poster, so it's kind of cool because it has just the negative space bar frame around it, you know, to then draw in the picture just a little bit. But you get to see all 12 men across the top. You get to see some of the actions. You know, some are pointing like this. Some are like getting ready to slam down. Some,
angry.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, emotions
Which
are.
Which is why it's 12 Angry Men. Yeah.
Exactly. And you have this dagger that comes down right between. And I love that it splits the jury 6 and 6. You know, and because it gives you more of this feeling of division within them. And then at the bottom, you get to see just another, you know, it's Henry Fonda. I mean, he's the star in this because at the top, you can't see him really, even though he's the one standing up. But some of the font choices, like I love how it explodes when it says it explodes like 12 sticks of dynamite. Explodes is all kind of askew a little bit. Each of the.
Yeah, it's skewed. The E is on its side, the O is a bit up. Yeah,
and you figure that this was done in the 40s, 50s, or mid 50s, something like that. So it's not done digitally. You know what I mean? These are drawn out and you know, or with typesetting and stuff. And so it's just the creativity within that. I like it's, and you figure the dagger draws your eyes straight down. I mean, you can see life is in their hands, death is on their minds. I mean, it flows that way. You would read that, but really the dagger is pointing you right down to the title. And so yeah.
Why do you think they chose the blue though? I mean, it's a nice contrast for the yellow. It does stand out the white.
It's probably because of the actual contrast. Because
you got to think, if it's so old, if it's printed, what colors work the best then as well?
Yeah, because I mean, you had, I don't know, and they used some oranges within there too, oranges and
Yes, some nice orange, making the 12.
Oh yeah, the shadowing.
12 Angry Men.
Well, and even
the 3D,
even on his face too, there, you know, giving it a not white. That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure why specifically blue was chosen, other than it's a good contrast with both the yellow and the red. You know, because you could go like green, which would be great against the red because those are opposites on the color wheel there. But the I don't remember, purple I think is opposite of yellow, and so it's maybe what's in the middle there becomes blue. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Good one. I'll have to definitely adding that to my list of things.
I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going for a very basic poster, but this poster, it's up there with me for like probably the best posters in the world. It says everything. It's Poltergeist. It's the black and white Poltergeist poster. It's the original movie. It's not the remake. And it has two words that says "They're here." There's a TV and a girl with her hands on the screen, and her teddy bear next to us. And under Poltergeist, it says, "It knows what scares you." And I actually have to review this film this week, so I'm going back to watch it because it's the 40th anniversary. And so one of the websites I write for is gone, Pop Horror, I think. It's gone, can you do a review for this? Like, yep, sure, I'll write this up. But 40th, I'm going to see if it still holds up. But this poster is incredible because it says exactly what you need to know. They're here. You're like, who's here? And then you see a little girl right up close with her hands on the screen of static. You can hear it.
Yeah. The negative space on this is amazing. Like the patience. Yeah. I don't know that you could get away with that in any major release nowadays. I
would love them to go back to this sort of marketing. People have forgotten, because if you look at we're just gonna have faces and colors everywhere now. Yep. It's just like, I don't care. I know the actors are going to be good. You wouldn't have hired them otherwise. You know, if it's a big budget movie, just give me an idea. Like, be creative. It's like we've forgotten the art of marketing.
Yeah. Great choice.
But this one is good. It's so good.
So my number 4 is
okay.
Jaws.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, the one, there are several different posters out. The one that I saw was literally, there was no black bars around it or anything else for mine. You just had Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss at the top. You had then Jaws, and
Jaws.
The woman swimming, and I mean, it is, you know, the terrifying motion picture from the terrifying #1 bestseller. I mean, at this point, remember, nobody was seeing these online. They were only seeing them at the movie theaters. You know, so you would stand there and you would see, you know, that's how you picked your movie half the time, and you could read that. But the scale of the shark coming up.
That's what. And the terror, like if anybody's been in the ocean, your mind, like you can't see what's under the ocean. But this poster is showing us what's under the ocean, and then the scale of the shark. Like, that is terrifying. She's unprotected. It's a woman for one, and you know, you want to protect her. She's just swimming, and this giant monster is just coming up. And then, you know, the word Jaws is red.
Yes.
You know, blood.
Yeah, just
so good.
It really, it is. I mean, what a good. That movie was PG. I mean,
how the hell was that movie PG?
Right?
It's terrifying.
That kept people.
But you know what? It's only terrifying for the last 40 minutes because it takes an hour to build into that story. Yeah.
Which, you know what? That's we don't have the patience most of the time now either. So to get that, to have that slow building, you know, of characters, of drama around just the town before we get to that, you know what I mean? And there you go.
It's so good. Yeah. We don't have the patience for that anymore. So I guess this is my number 4. Okay, this is really tough, man. I've got some really good ones here. Okay, let me just do honorable mention. I love the National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, that's so good.
It's like, if you've ever watched any of the National Lampoons, they're just hilarious slapstick comedy. But the poster is not depicting what the movie is. Yeah, you have this super strong hero. And if you've ever seen, which is one of Arnie's movies, Conan, I think, the poster is very similar to this. or Beastman or Hercules. Very, very similar to the stance of him holding up, strong, muscled dude. You know, got two women on his legs saying, you know, help me, because he's the strong guy. He's holding a tennis racket. There's a hawk coming to attack him, I think. A golf on his back. He's got there's a skeleton of a fish on a fishing rod. There's a lot going on. There's the snake. There's a dog, but it works because it's like this adventure. You can see it's all happening.
I love it. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's the ridiculousness of within there. It's like, this is what Chevy Chase sees in his head. You know, Clark Griswold sees himself as this.
Yeah.
And all of the little details.
But it's not like he's not that at all.
Yeah, all of the little details are really what the reality actually is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, so that's my honorable mention. I think for my fourth, I'm going to say The Godfather. It's a black and white poster. Half of the poster is just white and got names of like who's in it. And like, okay, it's a great cast. The top half of the poster, apart from Paramount Pictures, says The Godfather. It's so simplistic in its nature, but says so much because the hand is a guy holding the crossbar of the top part of a puppet, and you got the strings down below, and it literally just gives you, okay, so the Godfather is the dude that's pulling all the strings to everyone around, and that gives you an indication. It tells the story. How clever is that?
Wonderful. That's again the simplicity of it too.
Yeah, I think we're going with, like, you can see how I love the simplicity in the marketing, but that says so much. Yes. Well, my honorable mention is not simple. Okay. I didn't send this one to you, so I will send it though. It's Escape from New York. Okay.
John Carpenter teaming up with Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. The one that I'm looking at, it's New York City is off kilter. All of the text is off kilter. The city is off kilter. It's in 1997. New York City is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. And down below you have, the Statue of Liberty head in the middle of New York Street, chaos erupting. And Snake Plissken and Adrienne Barbeau are running with, is it the president? I don't know whoever that is that has the briefcase, but their guns look more like lasers, which is funny. It gives this weird futuristic type of thing. And I don't remember when this was done. Was it like 1983, 1985, something like that? But it's maybe even before that. And
it must be older, yeah, because like they're suggesting that 1997 is really futuristic.
Yeah,
it's great.
And the brief aside from, it's chaotic. It's not very simple, but I love that this shows you so much decay on the sides.
Yeah, it does suggest that kind of post-apocalyptic. Just the statue blocking the whole street.
Yeah,
you got the decrepit building, all the glasses destroyed. And then you got all the people with the weapons chasing after them. And they're the only ones in color.
Yeah.
We notice all the other people look all kind of grayed out. Some have slight touches to them, but most all kind of like that gray and black.
Yeah, to draw you into who you're supposed to focus in. And you know what? Suicide Squad couldn't do what they have done, I believe, without this movie. Because at the beginning, Snake Plissken is injected with a bomb, basically, that could kill him if he doesn't obey. And there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my honorable mention. My top one, it is simple, and I think it speaks so much to the fantastical element of the movie. Good. It's Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And yes, I love that movie too. It is so you have Ben Stiller up in the clouds, kind of running over the buildings. The buildings are shot in a way and then edited to look like they're miniatures, almost.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a what do you know when people build a city for. They're trying to showcase what the next skyscraper.
Yeah,
they're
like a
gonna build.
mock-up type of.
They build these
thing.
models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has this fake look to it, even though it's real. I mean, that's a real photo that they used, and they just edited it with some gradients and some blur effects, and then sharpening certain things to really make it look like hyper realistic and miniaturized within there. But it shows. I mean, he could be walking on anything.
Your head's in the clouds.
Yeah, it really is, and that's what
it's great.
The movie is all about. You know, his coming to terms with yeah. Anyway,
but it's so good, isn't it? Because this film, if I need to be hopeful about the future, I'll watch this film, because that's the sort of mood. It's a guy that doesn't feel like he has much to give to the world, and he meets that great photographer who kind of in a sly way gets him to force himself out of his world, experience the real world. Yeah.
It's not a porpoise. It is not a porpoise.
So good.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I love that movie. Oh.
Yeah, so, there's a toss-up between Aliens, between Batman, both really good. But I think I wanted to give this one as an example of having many heads on a poster, but doing it right. It's a fantastic film. It'll put you in a good mood. There's Little Miss Sunshine.
Ooh.
And so you have this stellar cast, which they've just listed at the front. It's lots of open space. Lots of kind of people saying on the right-hand side there with all the text saying, this is why it's great, blah, 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 blah. But then you have the yellow van at the bottom with the family running to try and get into the van. So you got all the cast, but they're doing something. Yeah. They're running weirdly, some of them. So it adds to the character. You see the kid with the the strap to the hair, the grandpa trying to pull, I think that's Robert Duvall.
No, Adam Arkin.
Alan Arkin, yeah. And then you got the wife trying to catch up. You got the kid. I think he's pushing the van because this old van, if you've seen the film, you understand. But there's so much going on just in that movement. So you can have heads, people in an action, but actually mean something to the film. A family on the verge of a breakdown. Little Miss Sunshine. It's perfect.
I love too how Little Miss Sunshine gets bigger with each word, but not substantially. So it grows, with that. And it's just, the whole yellow scheme is great. I mean, it's because it's pleasing to the eye and it's kind of warm, and it brings a brightness, but also an energy to it. And then you have all the motion that you talked about with all of the characters that are as they're doing. And it doesn't hurt that this is a great movie.
No, that definitely helps. Are there any others you want to mention?
You know what? Out of your list, and there are multiple of these posters, but the one that you specifically chose for Lord of War with Nicolas Cage, it's so unique because it's
very creative.
Him all out of bullets. I mean, every bit of his. That is made out of bullets, and it's so first off, it's very creative that they did that. But I love, and it's hard to read. I mean, it's almost incomprehensible around, you have the credits around the top of it, around the border there, which, okay, fair enough, whatever. But you have his name, which is prominent, but not overshadowing the actual name of the movie. And then you give just a tiny little, where there's a will, there's a weapon. And
that says so much. But then you put that in connection with the picture of Nicolas Cage, who is all made out of these various types of bullets. And you're like, oh gosh, okay, I know what this is about.
Well, and it gives you, it's vague still. Because is he a warlord? Is he, there's...
Yeah, he could be a warlord, or does he sell weapons in somewhere? So it gives you, there's a mystery, but it gives you an idea enough to want to watch the film. It is also one of his best films.
He really is. And Jared Leto.
He's really good. True.
Ethan Hawke.
Jared Leto.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, you're right. It's a good cast. It's a good story. Yeah.
So yeah, I may have to rewatch this. I own this. I'll have to put this back on. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. Any others that you want to highlight? I mean, you had a bunch on your list, and they were all outstanding for different
There's
reasons.
so many good ones. Chinatown springs to mind. Your eye completes the picture. So there's a dude smoking with his hat in Chinatown, and then the smoke makes the hair of the woman, and so it gives her her feminine look. So you got the lips and the nose and the eyes. There's no chin or neck or anything, but you can totally guess who it is or understand. I thought that was really cool. The Batman one, where the skyscraper creates the bat symbol out of the breaking buildings, very clever. The Rocketeer, very old one, but I like the style of it, the shapes they use, the speed created in his movement from the shapes and the color. I thought that was very unique, considering how minimalistic the poster is. It doesn't have the name of the actor. Probably does in the small credit, but you can't see that.
Well, I like too that this one, it's hearkening back to the time that it's the period that the movie takes place.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's an underrated film, actually. I think people watch it enough. And a classic Star Wars, if you look at that Star Wars picture and you look at the National Lampoon's one,
yes,
there's a couple kind of similarity. But then again, the color palette of the Star Wars one, great with the blue and blacks for Vader, white for the heroes. You notice that? Very good looking Leia. She's very princess-like. And then you got R2 and
C-3PO.
C-3PO. Never tell me the odds. Yeah.
That's a good one too. I love the shadow, or the silhouette-ish of Vader's helmet. That it's not that you still see all the stars behind it, so it has a transparency to it. So he's this ominous force that's overshadowing like everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's everything. I mean, we could go on for days and dissect them, but yeah, those are a few of our favorites, I think.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, what are some of your favorites? Let us know. You can either, you can tweet at us, you can comment on this, you can email us, however you want. We'd love to hear what are some of the things that you like of the movie posters. What speaks to you, and why do they speak to you? I think really, why? I mean, maybe it's minimalism. Maybe you enjoy.
It's very subjective.
Yeah,
isn't
it really is. These are all truly works of art, and I love some of the variations on one single movie that you get. That you can have several different interpretations of one thing, and maybe one speaks to you more, which is cool. I don't know. So yeah, there you go. We thank you for your support.
Nice.
It's huge. We do appreciate it. We won't do our stupid Scooby-Doo thing at the end.
No.
That's an assault to all the senses.
Come up with the bearded ones jingle soon.
Ooh, a jingle. I am not musically inclined.
A poetry jam session.
It's funny that we both did that. Oh, all right. With that, thank you. Okay. We'll see you later. Take care.